What's going on, guys? Welcome inside of our 2021 Coachmen Brookstone 398 MBL BTBRV Concept Edition. This is the collaborative unit that I worked with Coachmen to help design. Now we're going to do some interesting modifications today. I don't know how I'm going to feel about them until I complete them. So they're definitely going to be the types of modifications that some may like, some may not like. So hang tight, I'll be right back. Okay, so if you've watched some of the videos we've done on this Brookstone in the interior, it was actually a collaborative effort, and everything in here to me is beautiful. We love how it's set up and it works really well. I know some folks are very subjective when it comes to the colors. Some folks like a lot of whites, they like lighter tones. We really like the darker tones. It matches the interior of our home, and it was just really nice to kind of bring that into the RV. Now, if you like lighter tones, this may not be for you, but again, everyone has opinions on things like this, and we respect yours, and this is just one of those areas that we chose to go with darker tones. Well, one of the things that was done to our fifth wheel as part of this collaboration were the addition of these new Valances. And I really like the clean natured look of them, the clean lines and the dark tones mixed with some of the more neutral tones in between. But what I don't really care for is a contact issue we're having with the side portions of these Valances. Basically where the chairs can make contact with this lower portion, or the recliner right here can hit it. Now, we don't have that much of an issue over here because the sofa's stationary. It folds out into a bed, but there's not really a lot that will make contact with these lower portions of the Valances. But right here, we have an issue with these two Valances, and we have an issue with all of these Valances right here, simply because if I move this chair in too far, it can hit this lower portion of the Valance. Back here, if I scoot this chair out too far, it can hit this portion, and it actually takes away from some of the room you might normally have. So the goal today is to remove the Valance and see what I can do about modifying these or even removing them. Now, I don't necessarily want to remove them if I don't have to, simply because whenever you lower these day-night roller shades, it kind of tucks back into the edge of the Valance here, and it gives you a little bit more of a seal to prevent light from bleeding in around the sides of these roller shades. So if I can keep them, I will. And an idea that I might do is to simply remove them and cut them down a little bit, and then reinstall them so they're a little bit higher. The problem you then run into is the fact that they don't go down to the bottom of the window, and it might look a little awkward. So I want your opinion. Let me know. I think for now, we're just going to remove them, and then I'll figure out what I want to do with them or how I want to treat them later. But this is an issue some folks don't even have with their RV, simply because they don't put these side portions here. If you look at like Alliance units or some Grand Design units and some other manufacturers, they don't put this side portion at all. So you just have the top portion, and you just don't have to worry about the side portions coming down. In the case of our specific fifth wheel, this is a choice that Coachmen decided to go with, and it's not a bad one because I think it looks great. It makes the windows look very finished off, very clean and contemporary, and I like that. But again, you just have some issues like right here. And these are some of those things that you just don't know about until you use it for a while, right? Unless you camp in it and you move the chairs around and you have people, you know, moving this back portion, or you have kids who are constantly hopping in and out of seats and moving around. You just don't see some of these issues until you find out, you know, after you've used the unit. So the goal today is to remove the Valances, remove these side portions. I really don't know what you would call them, side Valances, but we're gonna remove those and see how it looks. We're gonna hang these top portions back up though. And I believe the process of doing so is simply to remove the screws down here, right there. These are the pieces that I've had to kind of move around a little bit, because when you hit it hard enough with a chair, you can pull these short screws out. Then up top, I think I have a similar bracket. Yep, you can see it right up there. I don't know if you can see it or not. And we'll pull the whole assembly off, and then we'll see how these are attached. So let me get to removing these, and I'll show you how it was attached once I've pulled it down, and then what it takes to remove these side portions. Okay, so that was super easy. All we had to do was remove one screw off each side, and then the screws from right here, because the top part that holds this day-night roller shade in place actually is what secures the valances to the top portion right here. Very, very easy. That was probably almost ridiculously easy, to be honest. Here is the actual valance itself. Let me see if I can flip this thing over real quick so you get a better idea of what it looks like on the other side. Honestly, very well made. I'm pretty impressed with the fit and finish and quality here. And to remove these side portions, it looks like I just have 3 screws on each side. So I'm going to go ahead and remove those screws and see how easy it is to take these side portions off. And again, that was incredibly simple to do. I simply took 3 screws off of each side, and you can see it just goes straight through the material here. Very nice and clean. Flip this over. Check that out. So after doing this, I don't have to worry about any type of a clearance issue between the back of these chairs and the window. Look, you can move it all the way back, which just gave me an additional 3 inches of space to move the chairs back. I mean, super, super easy to do. Now I'm gonna hang it back up, but before I do that, I'm gonna drop the roller shade down to get kind of an idea of if there's any light penetration. And I can move it over a little bit too now, so that's really cool. So it's a little bit too far this way, and now it gives me the flexibility of moving it over just a hair. And I don't think I need to do much other than slide these over, perhaps. Oh, they have little clips. So I think you just press these clips in. I can shift the whole thing over a hair, and I'll be good to go. Check that out. Perfect width of the window itself. So now I'm completely covering up the window. Honestly, there's not a heck of a lot of light bleeding in around it. I thought you'd see a lot, and this is pretty acceptable. I don't think I have any issue at all, and I don't think I'll need to put those back on or even shorten them down at all. Very cool. Let's get the rest of them done, and we'll hang the valance back up top. Okay, so there it is. All of the side valances removed. We didn't remove them off of the back because there's really no point. There's nothing that's going to make contact with them. They still look nice. They kind of surround and wrap the edges a bit. Same with this one. There's nothing that's really going to hit it unless you hit it with your arm or something. But on all of these, we took off the valances, at least on the side. Super, super easy to work with. While we were at it, I went ahead and just made sure all the fasteners that hold the brackets were tight, which they were. We didn't have any problems there. And then I aligned the blackout screens, so yeah, they cover evenly on both sides of the window. Super easy project. Again, this entire project only takes maybe 30 minutes, not very long at all. The hardest part about all this is when you have the wrong bit on your screwdriver and you keep dropping screws behind the couch. So I need to pull the love seat back, fish out probably 5 screws that I dropped back there before I decided to get the right bit, and we should be good to go. But what do you guys think? Please leave a comment below. I'd love to know your thoughts on no valances in the center here versus having the side valances right here. And unfortunately, you know, as is with a lot of projects, I broke something along the way. My cool little LED light strip, I snapped at one of the cut points, and this portion no longer works. That was the light that I had routed all the way across the top here, and it died. This one still works though, so we still have that going for us, but I'm gonna have to replace this. It only works up until that point now because I broke it right at that cut line. So thankfully they were cheap. Oh, so you may be asking what we're gonna do with these side portions of the valance that we removed. Well, we know what we're gonna do with one because we already did it. We mounted it right here above the stove. So you may recall that this was just exposed. This shade right here was exposed up top, and now it's covered up. I simply used some of the hardware that I removed from the side valances that held them in place, put this in place, and it looks really good. At least it's a lot better looking than it did before it had anything there, and I think it kind of finishes the area off nicely. What are your thoughts here? Now, what we might end up doing is finding a way to put curtains. My wife loves curtains in the RV, so we may look at some type of a mount, maybe even getting rid of these completely and putting some really nice curtains above them. What do you guys think when it comes to valances versus curtains? I like the way my wife sets up the RV when she's done in all our past units. She does a great job, and If she says it's going to look good, I absolutely trust that it's going to look good. But some people might not like curtains. What's your opinion? Should we stick with the Valances, or should we come up with a really great looking curtain system? Let me know in the comments below. And subscribe to my wife's channel as well. I'll put a link in the description because she's going to be doing more interior stuff in terms of making it more homey, customizing the interior, making it look nice. And we're going to do those on her channel. So definitely check out her channel and subscribe if you get a chance. Anyways, if you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to my channel and my wife's. Give me a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you again very soon.